Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on in to another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. As you can see, we're back in Spoon Studio for this midweek mailbag episode of the show. Super ecstatic to be back in Vegas, but major shout out to my parents, the absolute OGs, for hosting the Weekday Wake and Bake for the last week. It's been an absolute blast doing the Island edition of the show. Definitely will be back there at some point, but for now, the next 2 days, the next 2 episodes are here, and then Fuck Yeah Friday will be from the home of the French fry, Boise, Idaho. I'm going to get me some Idaho potatoes. But anyways, let's get on into this episode. This is a midweek mailbag episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. So as I smoke up, we're going to get into all the questions from the Roll Gangers on the Twitter. I post a whole bunch of mailbag tweets, so people can just tweet their questions right underneath my tweet, and boom, they get a free shout out on the show. And I can answer their questions. Maybe you're a little curious about something. It's a great way to communicate. But before I get on into the episode, major shout outs to the sponsors of the show, because they make things happen for you and make this show possible. The Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, the all-in-one tool to help you roll a dime every time or pack a bowl, perfectly every time. I don't know. I need a ringy thing. Pack a bowl like you're cool with the Rolling Spoon, Roll Gang. And also a major shout out to Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college, teaching everybody, including the Roll Gang, all about this beautiful herb that we all know and love. Cannabis education is huge, Roll Gang. Go ahead and get yours. Oaksterdam University, promo code Rolling Spoon actually gets you 10% off for whatever you want to learn. So it's a win-win. You can really dive into a budding industry. It's a great opportunity to properly educate yourself both on cannabis or how to grow. So major shout out, Oaksterdam University, sponsor of the show. And let's get on into the Wake and Bake. As you can see, I'm already starting to roll, so we might as well start into the mailbag as well. But Weekday Wake and Bake goes live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Well, if this is your first time tuning in, it's basically just breaking down herb, just me doing some cannabis content or with another industry professional, cannabis industry professional, and just breaking down some herb, talking some cannabis content with y'all, because this industry is booming and has a lot to cover. And so every Wednesday, basically, when I do the show myself, is a midweek mailbag. And what I do is I post a tweet saying mailbag tweet. And actually, it's quite a few tweets saying that. And I collect a whole bunch of questions from the Roll Gang so that I can answer them on the show. And if you decide to participate and tweet me a question, you get a free shout out, major shout out on the show. So make sure to follow on Twitter and participate in the next mailbag tweet. But if you're on YouTube, make sure you smack that subscribe button square in the face. Give that baby a smack. And hit the notification bell so you guys get a little buzz every weekday morning at 8 a.m. when we go live. So the first question on this episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake Midweek Mailbag Edition comes from Big Ten Jeff. Big Ten Jeff coming in. Yo, probably a football fan. I love the name. But anyways, he says, "God damn, you send a lot of mailbag tweets." This must be a new follower because, yeah, I do send a lot of mailbag tweets. And if you guys follow on Twitter, you probably can't miss them. I'm not trying to be redundant or annoying. I just want to give everybody ample opportunities to participate. And soon, I won't need to tweet more than one mailbag tweet. So, Big Ten Jeff, yeah, you're right. God damn, I will stop soon. My man. But anyways, big shout out at Big Ten Jeff on Twitter for participating in the midweek mailbag. The next question comes from at Angelo Canna. At Angelo, Angelo. I guess it's Angel O Canna, maybe. Like the angel of cannabis. But anyways, yo, this is a pretty good question from the Angel O Canna. And the Angel O Canna asks, what's your favorite word for weed? What's your favorite word for weed? So I personally hate the word weed. I think it has a negative and diminishing connotation of this magical plant. I hate the term, well, guys, hate's a strong word, but I really do hate the term marijuana. It is racially founded, and they started tossing the word marijuana around when they were trying to demonize the plant back in the war on drugs. So really, my favorite word for cannabis is cannabis, or if I'm trying to be like super nonchalant and I don't want to say cannabis, I just say pot, because we grow it in pot. And I don't know why we call it pot. Is it because we grow it in pot, or is it because pot is short for potent? And this joint sure is about to be pretty potent. I'm really pumped to get some THC in my system here this morning, Roll Gang. I hope you guys are all smoking too. Hope everybody got a nice roll with a spoon going. You know, roll a dime every fucking time. You know how we do every weekday morning, baby. Got that rolling spoon flow. And, oh, I love smoking pot. So fucking good. Anyways, at Bong Rip John, tapping in on the midweek mailbag episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. At Bong Rip John says, grow versus genetics. So it was a short mailbag question. It was just grow versus genetics. But basically, I think he's asking the age-old question. Nature versus nurture. The genetics of your plant versus how well you can grow it. And it's funny Bong Rip John put the VS dot versus, but really it's got to be the and symbol. It's got to be both. If I had to pick one or the other, you have to have some bomb genetics to make bomb weed. You can love on some shitty genetics all you want. It's not going to be that good. But like if you have some fire genetics, you can throw it in the dirt and it'll make fire weed. Just throw it. It's pretty easy. It grows like a weed. That's why it was initially called that. And especially the ones with amazing resilient genetics. So I would probably say genetics over the grow if I had to pick, but you really need a mixture of both. So we're about halfway through this midweek mailbag episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. Another quick shout out to Oaksterdam University, title sponsor of the show. Guys, I just urge you guys, it's my alma mater. I absolutely cherished my experience to learn about this magical plant. You know, I wanted to learn in depth. And what a better way to do it than a cannabis college, Oaksterdam University, first of its kind. Use promo code Rolling Spoon, and it can save you like $200 on your tuition. Just go check out how you can really get the proper education for the industry. For us to be real, true cannabis professionals, we have to be educated. So let's get educated. Oaksterdam University, let's go. So at Boss Lady Nay on Twitter, N-A-Y, at Boss Lady Nay. Thank you for tapping in. Great question here on the midweek mailbag. Little nugs or big nugs? So I'm not sure if she asked this. I feel like for a lot of people this is an obvious question, but I'm really a skeptic, and I love formulating my own opinions. Small nugs means less stem. Small nugs means less stem. I love big nugs. They look better, they're juicier, sometimes they're more potent, but they have a giant stem in there. And you gotta pick it apart, and it takes time, and I have an ultra appreciation for all nugs. You know, all nugs are the same for me. You know, as long as it's not shake, I'm down to grind it up. Little nugs, less stem. Big nugs, more pretty. I mean, who could pick? Little nugs or big nugs? I'll take either. I'll take a medium nug. I don't know. I'm too stoned to answer that one right now, Boss Lady Nay. But anyways, at Third Coast Buds with a Z, at Third Coast Buds says, how did you start your business? And I don't even know. I don't even know where to start. I guess I started my business on LegalZoom. I filed for an LLC. It's called Sky Buds LLC. Kind of funny. Third Coast Buds. Sky Buds LLC. DBA, doing business as the Rolling Spoon. And set it up that way. Designed the spoon. Got a patent. Injection mold. Found a printer to print them all. I mean, it's just a grind, man. How do you start a business? A grind. A hustle. It's a fucking... And then you gotta keep going, and it never stops. It really doesn't. It's stressful, and you think it's not gonna work, and always, the whole entire time, and you just gotta keep on trucking. One tiny rung of the ladder at a time. And that's how I started it. I'd say, how did... Third Coast Buds on Twitter says, how did you start your business? One step at a time. That's my answer. But anyways, the last question here on this midweek mailbag episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake is coming in from Kate Leaf 420. Kate Leaf, Leaf 420 on Twitter says, do you do giveaways? And Roll Gang, I have been so sleeping on giveaways. If you guys are in Vegas, I am totally going to do some giveaways. Megan and Bryce and I were talking about doing stash and dashes through Vegas, which is a genius idea. So really, really going to start hopping on the giveaway game. Because I fucking love you guys, Roll Gang. I love session with you every weekday morning. I love the mailbags. And I love smoking herb with you guys. You guys are just as passionate about it as I am, and it's a lot of fun. So, for the Processor Sky and this midweek mailbag edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake, I'm gonna go and smoke the rest of this joint, and you guys have a great fucking hump day. Let's get over this shit and keep on trucking, Roll Gang. I will see you tomorrow with a little bit of cannabis news. This week's this week's cannabis news. So super excited. One of my favorite episodes of every week to dive into, the latest and the greatest juice locally here in Vegas, USA, and even like we had news from Spain like last week or 2 weeks ago. So it literally comes from all over the place. But see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, live, smoking a doobie, and chatting it up about the herb that we all love. So have a great Wednesday, Roll Gang. Absolutely stoked to smoke with you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for Canna News Thursday.